How's this for a first? The Washington National Cathedral's orchestra and choir performing online as a collective this past Easter Sunday, each from the confines of their home. As organizations from churches to multinationals and NGOs shift how they do things amidst a global public health emergency that has upended how just about everything traditionally works.
One of the biggest things that we've learned is how unprepared we were. So Gartner recently did a study where they said that only 12% of all companies were prepared to deal with, what's now happened with coronavirus. So I think one of the lessons is to kind of adjust to this new normal. Physical distancing will be here for a while. Remote work, I think, will also be around for a while. So in terms of preparedness, I think companies need to start thinking more about how do they help the employees protect their mental health? How do they adjust to online learning and online training? How do they make their managers more effective with working remotely? And then I think ultimately the goal would be how do we shift from participating and adding value in FaceTime to just adding results using technology tools?
Video conferencing platforms like Zoom and Microsoft Teams have seen an explosion in usage. Active users on Zoom ballooned to 200 million for March alone, while Microsoft Teams set a new daily record of 2.7 billion meeting minutes, up 200% from the 900 million minutes it recorded when many global lockdowns went into effect. The House Party app has also proved popular for online hangouts.
But there are pitfalls, right? I mean, we're sort of rushing to where the light is, and we perhaps are not protecting ourselves as much as we should.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, there have been instances of, privacy and security breaches of people's meetings being hacked. One of the other pitfalls is, just connecting as a team, people, wanting to connect more frequently and be aligned to team goals. Technology use is great, but overuse of technology can also, it's proven, lead to mental health deterioration. People feeling lonely, people feeling isolated, people feeling burnt out. And then, of course, there's the whole notion around work-life balance. So, how much technology time is enough?
Antoine, you're working hard, of course, yeah?
With universities and schools closed indefinitely, online learning has been key, with this English language instructor now teaching class from her Paris apartment.
Non, il faut revoir l'approche qu'on a avec les élèves.
We have to revisit the approach with our students. I'm someone who constantly throws out questions to my pupils. I want replies from them. But with 26 of them on a screen, raising or not raising a hand icon, it's quite complicated. So I'm totally changing how I do things, which, by the way, I don't find satisfactory.
The Secretary General said he was saddened by the loss of life.
The UN's daily noon briefing that once looked like this now looks like this, as the global organization's staff and media covering them shift how, when, and where they work.
It has obviously put a strain on the on our technical setup, but I think, as you see from the way we've been able to conduct these briefings and now having a back and forth, I think our technical colleagues have really stepped up to the plate. I mean, we're basically using video conferencing capabilities as TV production, but I think we're moving in the right direction. We're using all these digital and online tools, collaborative tools, and the work of the UN goes on.
But not everyone has access to high-speed internet. While South Africa has around 36 million internet users, only a tiny fraction have broadband access from their homes.
In terms of capacity, I think broadband has traditionally been a barrier to adoption. I think across the board, I think government will need to invest more. Companies will need to invest more in not just broadband, but invest more in training and online learning and making sure that people can adapt to these tools. I think embracing a more flexible work style is here to stay, and it clearly has its advantages. But the one lesson that I think has become more prevalent, for me at least, is the importance of seeing the individuals using the technology and making sure that they're okay.
Working for a Seattle-based experience management company, Roper's been stuck in South Africa since the lockdown went into effect.
For me, I think one of the biggest lessons has been around the importance of checking in. So I use remote pulse tools just to stay connected to the team and asking them essentially for feedback, like, how are you doing? Are you okay today? Work-life balance, I've also had to become a lot more protective around my mental health. So just knowing, setting up my physical workspace, knowing when to snooze my communications.
And if those tips were not enough, take it from someone who spent 205 days on the International Space Station orbiting the Earth, stuck in a highly confined environment.
Obviously living up there, and there's a huge team on the ground that's constantly supporting the crew on the space station, and so there's a little bit of difference there. But some of the tools that I used up there are the same tools I'm using now. But it's simple stuff. It's have a routine. Put a schedule together and stick to the schedule, because then everybody inside the house knows what to expect throughout the day, and just having some control and some certainty over how your day is going to play out is a huge psychological boost.
In a world where "see you in a bit" has literally come to mean powering up a device and ensuring that your camera and built-in audio is tech compatible. Sherwin Bryceby's SABC News.